payments are a way of giving that choice and control to people, enabling them to meet their outcomes in a way that suits them. We need to involve clients and their families in making decisions about their care and ensuring that we are putting people first. When used correctly, direct payments are a liberating tool to give people real choice and control. When used in the wrong way, they can give families, service providers, and others a real headache. In this quick guide, we have brought together commissioners and social workers who will discuss the key ingredients to using direct payments effectively to help the families that you support.
So, what's a direct payment? A direct payment's the only legal way a local authority can give money directly to an individual to enable them to purchase their own choice of care or service provider. It's a sum of money known as a personal budget. By law, a direct payment must be offered or provided to anyone who requests one, unless it is clear that the individual or their third party acting on their behalf will not be able to manage the payment, even with support. You can read more about this within the Care Act 2014. It's within Section 12. A direct payment allows the individual or their third party to make their own care and support arrangements, thus giving them full choice and control of that spend and the decisions about their support or service providers. Individuals or their third party can make arrangements with any care and support agency that's not contracted by their local authority, or they can choose to engage the services of their own worker, usually called a personal assistant. A direct payment can be spent on anything, as long as it's lawful, is meeting the eligible assessed care needs, and achieving the outcomes within the individual's support plan.
How do I know that a direct payment is right for Angela?
Angela must understand her responsibilities in having a direct payment and be happy with the associated risks. Angela will also have to make decisions about sourcing her own care. If Angela is unable to make decisions, she could nominate a representative to do this for her on her behalf.
When is a direct payment not appropriate?
Local authorities have the discretion to refuse a direct payment to anyone they consider would not be able to manage one, even with the appropriate support in place. For individuals requiring high levels of care and support, we need to consider if a direct payment is the best option, as it may not be appropriate to meet those needs with community solutions due to the levels of the service required. The judgment should be made on an individual basis, taking into account the individual's and their family's views.
What support is there for Mohammed in managing his direct payment?
Mohammed will need to set up his own bank account and be responsible for keeping any receipts or invoices for any spend from his direct payment. If Mohammed employs a PA, he will also need to follow employment law. However, as a social care worker, you will not be responsible for giving this information and advice. We have a contracted information, advice and guidance service provider called Enham Trust. This is a free service to any individual in receipt of a direct payment. For information about their services, you can email them on dpsupport@enhamtrust.org.uk or call them on 01264 345 800.
What are the advantages for Richard in having a direct payment?
By having a direct payment, Richard can ensure that the service provider he chooses will be able to meet his specific eligible care needs, delivering his care where, when, and how he would like it. This will allow him to have full choice and control. Richard will have the flexibility to choose what's right for him, exploring opportunities that can link him with his local community, choosing services which we may not offer, but that would better suit his needs.
What are the disadvantages for Richard in having a direct payment?
Richard would need to be responsible for managing his own personal budget. This sometimes requires a lot of administration. He will need to have contingency plans in place in times of carer holidays and sickness, for example. Adult social care cannot suddenly source services when Richard's chosen service provider is unavailable. On a direct payment, sometimes an individual may be required to top up. SCC will look at our contracted providers and estimate what it would cost us as a local authority to meet a certain eligible care need, as if we were sourcing it. If Richard then chooses a care provider which charges him more than his personal budget, he will need to top up. This will be in addition to any financial and benefits assessed charge. The exception to this is where Richard had no choice in his care provider, possibly due to his location or his specific care need, and it may be that only one carer answered his advert, so he was left with no choice in the person that he had. We would also look at enhancing rates if we were unable to source the care for him.
What are the advantages for my organisation in offering direct payments?
As an organisation, direct payments enable our clients to be more independent and therefore less reliant on long-term services. The personal budgets are usually lower in cost than commission care packages, and commission care packages are then available to those individuals where a direct payment is not suitable.
If May opts for a direct payment, is it easy to set one up for her?
Yes, you can get further information on how to set up a direct payment by accessing the process map and flowchart, which can be found on our intranet site.
Where can I, as a social worker, get information and support on setting up a direct payment?
You should speak to your manager or seek advice at Peer Forum. There are also staff policy guidance documents, which can be found on our intranet.
Is there information I can give to May about having a direct payment?
Yes, there are guidance documents called the C2 and C3, which can be found on our intranet, and you would be handing these out to May at your initial review visit.
What options are there for May in the community to use her direct payment? Where can I find information?
May will have access to a number of networks of microproviders in Somerset, as well as other community-based organisations offering support. Information can be found on the Community Connect website.
What can micro providers do for May?
Micro-providers are providers of very small care or support services. They're usually self-employed and offer a wide range of personalised support to help people at home or in the community. Somerset County Council have a development programme and an accreditation scheme that supports new providers to set up and meet an agreed quality standard.
What are the benefits for John in having a micro provider?
Micro-providers are a great option for people who have a really clear idea about the support they need. Being small means that they can be flexible and offer John care and support at times and in ways that suit him. They offer a whole wide range of services supporting people around the home, around the garden, with personal care or support to get out and about.
Can a micro provider deliver a large package of care and at weekends for John?
Technically, yes, if John and his family are able to recruit and coordinate and manage a team of micro providers to provide this complex care. However, in practice, this can be challenging. Most micro providers are self-employed and provide lower level support and help. John may be better using a CQC registered agency who can coordinate and manage larger, more complex support and care arrangements.
What if the micro provider costs more than the direct payment rate?
You can apply for an enhanced rate through Peer Forum when it's necessary. Sometimes an individual has no choice in which provider they can have due to location or service type. It's important to have a consistent method for calculating personal budgets, and we should ensure that the method used for calculating them produces equitable outcomes to ensure fairness in care and support packages, regardless whether it's a commission service or a direct payment. The amount that the local authority calculates the personal budget to be must be sufficient to meet that individual's needs. We are required to and must take into account any reasonable preferences made by an individual to meet their needs as detailed within their care and support plan. Personal budgets are explained in the Care Act 2014 within Section 11.
What if John chooses a more costly service that is more than the direct payment rate?
If John has a choice from many providers to meet his needs, but chose one which was above his personal budget, but there were a few within it, he would be expected to top up the difference. This responsibility would not fall to SCC.
What other things might Mary have to consider about having a micro provider?
Micro providers or microservices are not for everybody. However, they're a great option for people who can't get the services or support they want and would like flexible local options. It's great for people who know what they want, when they want it and how they want it. And it's fantastic for people who are willing and able to engage directly with providers and tell them exactly what is needed. There's a requirement to use a micro provider for the family to check the suitability of a provider and to make a decision of whether that provider is right for them. And obviously on an ongoing basis, that family have to control, direct and coordinate their care and be willing and able to do so. So therefore, micro providers is not a great option for people who don't know what they want or what they need in a service, or for people and families who are reliant on a professional to engage or coordinate or broker the care with a micro provider. Again, it's around the willingness and the capacity and the ability to control or direct or coordinate the care. So micro providers are not a great option for families who don't want to take on that risk or the responsibility for managing or coordinating that care on an ongoing basis.
Where can Mary obtain information about micro providers in her area?
We have a new brokerage tool that connects professionals and referrers with micro providers in their local area. You can use this tool on our Community Connect website.
Can Mary obtain any help or support in identifying a micro provider?
Yes, Mary could get support from her local village agent. You will need to refer Mary to her local agent through the Community Council for Somerset.
Can Mary be offered a one-off direct payment?
It's possible, following an assessment, that an individual only needs a set sum of money to meet their eligible assessed care need. For example, Mary may need funding for a particular item which cannot be procured directly by SCC. Mary could have this as a one-off payment via a direct payment. This is not for ongoing care packages, but genuine one-off payments. It's a lump sum paid into the individual or their nominated third party's own personal bank account to meet a particular need. A one-off DP agreement would need to be signed by the individual or their nominated third party.
How can we be sure that Mary's outcomes are being met through having a direct payment?
There are several ways we can ensure that Mary met her outcomes with her one-off payment. At subsequent care reviews, the social care worker should discuss how the direct payment went. They should ask Mary if she was happy with her outcome and was she able to source what she needed to meet her needs. In conjunction with this, the DP Finance team will also ask Mary for copies of the invoices or receipts from anything she purchased from the one-off payment to ensure it's in line with what was recorded in her care and support plan. Thanks for listening. We hope you found this information video helpful. For further information on direct payments, please go to www.somerset.gov.uk and select the Social Care and Health option, followed by adult social care. For further information about micro-providers, how to source them, and what you need to think about when hiring them, please go to our Somerset Community Connect website at somersetcommunityconnect.org.uk.